Have you decided to walk your cat, but aren't sure about the best way to go about it? So in this video, we're going to take a look at how to walk your cat, how to train it with as little stress for you and your cat as possible. Coming up next. Hi, my name is Francisco and welcome to my channel, 9 Lives to Live. This channel is about improving the lives of house cats, and I work with my cats, Mr. Muffin, Skyfall, and Calypso, to bring you this information. House cats live indoors most of their lives, and because of this, they have special needs that we need to consider. This channel will be especially useful to new cat owners who are still learning how to understand the lives of their cats. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to walk your cat, some of the best practices for doing that, and we're going to review one thing never to do when walking your cat. If you have not seen my video on the pros and cons of walking your cat, you might want to take a look at that first. It contains useful information and helps you make a decision as to whether or not walking your cat is the best thing for you and for your cat. So, to walking your cat, the first consideration that you must be aware of is that if your cat has been an indoor cat for most of its life since it was a kitten, the outdoors will be a brand new experience for it. And because of that, you need to go slowly. Remember that cats are not only predators, they're also prey. And so in the outdoors, their tendency is to hide. And if they've never been outdoors, they might panic a little bit, they might be uncomfortable, and they might want to hide rather than just to walk around. In this way, they are very different than, say, a dog. But there's ways to get around that, and there's ways to introduce them to the outdoors. And the whole process of training your cat to walk on a leash outside is partly helping it to become familiar and comfortable. The first thing to consider is the harness. There are harnesses that they make which prevent the cat from backing out of it. Let me show you one of them. It's this one. Let me try to get it into focus, if we can. Okay, you can see it. See, this harness will prevent the cat from backing out, which is one of their instincts, that if they can't pull forward and escape forward, they will try to back out of it. And if you're outside and your cat panics for whatever reason, that might be one of the things it tries to do. And if it pulls out of the harness, then you'll be running around the neighborhood trying to chase it down. And if it's panicked, it'll go into hiding somewhere, and then you'll spend hours trying to find your cat. Once they are less likely to panic, once they are familiar with your neighborhood, then there are different kinds of harnesses that you can use. But to begin, use this kind of harness that prevents the backing out. I'm going to show you how to put it on your cat with either Mr. Muffin or Skyfall or Calypso, whichever one will let me. So I'm going to try to put harness on Mr. Muffin so you see how it goes on. It's not very difficult. Let me just check. Yeah, okay, Mr. Muffin, there you go. You attach these under its arms. Flip it on. Second side under its arm. Clip it on. Now you'll notice, and this is the main thing I want to show you, is that this will pull and tighten up if the cat pulls on it. So that if Mr. Muffin decides that he wants to back up, this will become very tight and he won't be able to back out of it. That's the most important aspect of this kind of harness. Now Mr. Muffin's already somewhat familiar with this harness, and so he'll walk around with it. He walks off with it. Okay, so taking off the harness is just as easy. You unclip it, like so. Slide it over its head. Okay. Secondly, you need to train your cat to become familiar with the harness inside your house. Do not take it outside as soon as you put the harness on. They will not be familiar with it. They will feel uncomfortable, and many of your cats will just flop over and won't move because they are not used to that kind of constraint. So she's not used to this harness. She needs to get used to it before she'll feel comfortable. Before you should put on the lead, you need to let her start walking around with that. Right now, she's not even comfortable walking around with it. So trying to walk with her now is not going to be effective at all. The process is first put on the harness inside the house. Let them become familiar with it. Once they stand up and start walking around with the harness inside the house, then you attach the leash to it. The leash will create a little bit of drag on it, and that also will be unfamiliar. So they need to get used, secondly, to the leash, and not just the harness. And then thirdly, they need to get used to you controlling the leash, because when you're outdoors, you might want to give a little tug to keep your cat out of some dirt or someplace that you don't want it to go. You might need to have it learn how to take your guidance. And this is something that should be done indoors first. So as much as you can, go through that process. This might take a little time. For some cats, it might just take a couple of days. But for some, it might take a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It doesn't really matter. There's no big rush. On your first venture outside, your cat will probably stay close to home. It will want to experience the wind and look at bugs and things that it hasn't experienced inside the house. And because everything is new to it, it won't feel the need to go far beyond your house. Don't try to walk it like a dog. Just let it experience the perimeter of your house first. Let it go as far as it wants, but no farther. Let your cat take the lead and show you what it wants to do. As it becomes more familiar with your house or your apartment building and its surroundings, then it will signal that it wants to go farther afield. If your cat is particularly nervous, you might want to consider taking it out in the evening or even at night after dark. Many cats feel more comfortable in the evening and after dark. And that might be an environment where they feel a little safer, less visible to predators or possible predators. Be aware that with walking a cat, there's going to be a lot of standing around. In many cases, they just want to sit. They want to sit and watch. They're going to walk, they're going to stop, they're going to sniff, they're going to lie, they're going to sit up, walk a little bit more. The only time you'll get an exercise is if they see another cat and they either might run toward it or might run away from it, in which case you're going to have to run with them. But other than that, you're not going to get that much exercise. If you have more than one cat and are considering walking all of them, you will probably have to take more than one walk. You will not be able to walk all of your cats at the same time comfortably. This is just the nature of cats. They are all going to want to do their own thing, go their own way, and you will not be able to be everywhere at the same time. And so it's going to create frustration, not only for them, but also for you. Once your cat becomes familiar with walking outdoors, doesn't panic, is comfortable with the environment, it's also possible that you can walk your cat in your yard without a leash and without a harness, just with its collar. I didn't mention that, by the way. You need to be sure that your cat has a collar on with a tag. Just in case it gets loose and gets lost, it will have its collar on. But back to my point is that in your backyard, once your cat is familiar and isn't going to panic, it's possible to take it walk around your backyard with you without a leash. Whether or not you do that also depends on its temperament and its familiarity, level of familiarity with the outdoors and with your backyard. Okay, so for the one thing that you never should do when walking your cat is never attach the leash to the collar. Here's a sample collar. This is not what you want to attach the leash to. You always should use a harness. And there's a couple of reasons for it. They make primarily two types of collars. The kind that will release if they are pulled. Okay, so let me show you. This is the kind. Let's see if I can get it to focus. If they pull on it, they'll snap open. The second type of collar is the kind that has a little latch, and those don't release. So if it panics and starts pulling, it'll start pulling on its neck. And this is not something that is healthy for the cat and you want to avoid. So if you can commit to walking your cat, I think it's a great idea. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below, or if you already walk your cat and have had other experiences and can share some of those that you think will add value to the people who are looking at this video. Please feel free to add those comments below. If you like this video, please take a look at some of my other videos on my channel, 9 Lives to Live. And don't forget that if you are still considering whether or not to walk your cat, watch the pros and cons of walking your cat, which the link should be here somewhere on this description. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.